S, manual mode, sport mode. We are in all of the sporty driving modes, and let's see how it accelerates. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be going over a new Acura MDX, and yes, this is a 2020. You can still get brand new 2020 Acura MDXs on the lot. So in today's video we're pretty much going to answer, should you get a 2020 or should you get the new 2022? But first and foremost, a huge shout out and thank you to Jody Wilkinson Acura for giving me some time with this MDX. Check out the inventory link below. Let's get straight into the video. Now, under the hood of the MDX, we have a naturally aspirated 3.5 liter V6 that goes through a 9-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 19 around town and then 26 on the highway, with power outputs being 290 horsepower and then 267 pound-feet of torque. Now let's go over the front end of the MDX. So first off, you've got all these lines here on the hood. You've got the one in the center and then on the sides. Definitely makes it look a little bit more muscular. And then you've got the full LED lights here with the LED accent lights there to the side. I love how they have the orange accent lights. And then you've got Acura's signature front grille with the Acura logo that doubles as a sensor. All the chrome here on the front as well. And then you've got the chrome there at the bottom on top of that. And then you have the venting there on the side. But yeah, other than that, there's the rest of the front on the MDX. Now coming on the side here, you've got two 45mm tires wrapped around 20-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. And then as for the design on the wheels, I kind of did this like fan slash blade type design, which I think looks really good with the rest of the MDX. Next, you've got that chrome strip there at the very bottom. The mirrors are two-tone, so you've got the silver at the top, the black there at the bottom, and then you've got the chrome door handles as well, and there's your full side view. Now let's pop into the rear of the MDX. So first off, you actually do get a 12 volt here in the back, and then you got the rubber floor coverings. And then as for the third row, you just pull that little lever right there, and then that's how you actually throw the seat down. Pretty simple and straightforward. And then there is some extra storage space underneath here. So there's this little tab. Just pull that up, and then you get some extra storage behind the third row. And then something that's cool is it actually stays up for you, which, I mean, most of these storage compartments don't do that. So I think that's a nice little feature. But other than that, that is the back of the MDX, so, well, see ya. Now let's finish things up with the rear of the MDX. So first off, you've got all of your regular badges here on the back. And then as for the taillights, they're a little bit more old school with the design on the taillights for the 2020 MDX. And then coming down below, you guys can see that you've got little covering there over the exhaust tips. And then you've got parking sensors here in the rear. More chrome accenting. You probably noticed that all around the MDX, but there's everything for the rest of the rear. Now here's the door panel in the back of the MDX. So first off, you've got all this soft touch leather here at the stitching, and then more soft touch leather just down below with all the wood trim that goes across. And then notice you've got the nice chrome strip that goes up there. And you got your little door handle. Now here are the seats in the back. So full leather, you've got the perforated leather there in the center portion. And let's actually pop in. So stepping height's actually pretty good. I'm 5'11", I fit in here pretty nicely. And there's what my legroom looks like as well. Got a couple vents down here, and then just down below you've got all of your climate controls, and then this is kind of like a little charging area. You've got a USB in there, and then pull this down to be some cup holders. But that's the back of the MDX. Now here's the door panel in the front of the MDX. So again, you've got the chrome strip that goes all the way down, and you got more of the perforated leather with the wood trim, and more leather in this little area. Got all of your window controls right here with the mirror adjustments, memory seats just up above, and then this is for the rear hatch and then the gas cap, and then you can see it says Acura right there. And then over here you've got the seats here at the front. So again, you've got the nice leather here with perforated leather there in the center portion, your power adjustments there on the side, and then the floor mat that says MDX. Pedal layout just down below, and then up above, well, the sun just completely whited everything out. You've got the parking brake, your brake hold, parking sensors next to it, your lane departure assistance, your stability control, collision assistance. The steering wheel is automatically adjustable, and there's one more look before we pop in. Now here's the steering wheel in the MDX. You've got soft touch leather around the whole steering wheel, and then you do have some controls here in the center. So you've got controls actually for the center stack right there, your cruise control, and then notice that's like the follow function, then your lane keep assist. And then over here you've got your voice command controls, phone controls, all that kind of stuff. Stock for the light slash turn signal, windshield wiper stock on the other side, and then you do have the little paddle shifters, but that's all for the steering wheel. Here's the center gauge cluster with the MDX. You have the RPMs on the left side. On the right side, you've got the speed, and then you do have a couple different menus you can scroll through. I like that little thing that shows you what your drive mode is and everything. But yeah, you've got all those different little menus that you can actually go through with the MDX. And then yes, we do have the drive modes. So you've got the normal, sport, and then comfort, and you can see it doesn't do anything crazy like the new MDX. And don't worry, we'll get a side-by-side comparison soon. But yeah, that's everything for the drive modes. We have the navigation here on the MDX, and I love how you have a scroll function, so you can go like all the way out, boom, you can see it's like the US, and then you can go all the way in, and it's like super zoomed in. But yeah, that's the navigation screen. Now we also need to go over the backup camera, so you guys can see you've got pretty normal backup camera. We do have trajectory lines with this backup camera. They do turn with the steering wheel, and other than that, let's actually pop down to the infotainment system, where you'll notice that you've got like your climate controls here on the bottom, and then you've got your seat controls, so you can turn on the different functions right there. Right now we have it on off, but you do have an auto function for the seat, which is pretty nice. But yeah, it's crazy seeing the difference between this and the new MDX with the infotainment system. I mean, yeah, the difference between both of these is, it's like definitely night and day, but the response time on the screen is actually still really nice. You guys probably noticed, but you do have the dual zone climate controls here, just down below that screen. And then this is that little thing for the navigation to zoom in and out. And then you've got a bunch of shortcut buttons over there. And then underneath this, you just have to press the tab. Got a little charging port right there. And then you got a couple cup holders. And then here's our gear selection system. So you push in for park, for reverse, neutral, and then drive. And then you've got your shifting mode right there, and then you've got the dynamic select mode right there, and then your auto stop start. If you don't want that, you can turn that off. And then we have the little tray right here that you can slide, and you've got a bunch more areas where you can charge devices, and you've got nice wood trim on that. Here's the center console, which pretty normal setup. And then popping over here to the glove box, press that, it'll pop down, lined with felt. And then also there's more nice wood trim just up above it. Up top here, we've got our sunglass holder, universal garage door openers, and then controls here for the sunroof. Just have a regular sunroof, lighter colored headliner, and that's all for the top. Now that we're done going the interior on the 2020 MDX, let's quickly get into the pricing. So in terms of pricing, this 2020 MDX stickers are about $52,500 before you tap a market adjustment. That all being said, well, let's take it out and see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility here in the 2020 Acura MDX. So first off, visibility over the hood, pretty decent. It's pretty much average for an SUV in this segment. There's your visibility through both of the mirrors. And then here's throughout the rest of the rear. There's a little bit of a blind spot back there, but overall it's not bad at all. And that all being said, let's set off. So we are setting off here in the 2020 MDX, and yes, we are using this for our driving comparison video as well, and we're driving the 2020 first so I can really feel the difference between this and the 2022, and like go from obviously the older one to the newer one, because the newer one's supposed to have all the improvements. First off, from a ride quality perspective, definitely can feel quite a bit happening underneath us on the road. It's not rough by any means, but I mean, this road's pretty beat up, and you can feel it through the suspension. And if you guys are wondering, I am just in the, let's go into the comfort mode for the drive mode. So I'm in the comfort mode. But yeah, you can definitely feel quite a bit. From a noise perspective, it's really well insulated. You really don't hear a whole lot, so it's doing good on that side of things. The steering's very, very light. The one thing I am noticing is these the gauges, looking at them, they definitely feel old school. We'll get a partial acceleration here. Decent torque and everything from the V6. The gear shifts are actually relatively quick. Now we're going to pop it into the manual mode, and then we'll pop it over into the sport mode as well. So we're in S, manual mode, sport mode. We are in all of the sporty driving modes, and let's see how it accelerates. Gonna have to slow down because there's a guy jaywalking. But yeah, the gear shifts are actually relatively quick. The downshifts definitely take a second, but the upshifts are relatively quick with this 9-speed automatic. It'll be pretty interesting to drive this back to back with that new 10-speed, because that new 10-speed's really sharp. But yeah, I can definitely feel a difference with this compared to the 10-speed. And from an acceleration standpoint, it's pretty quick. I'll see if I can actually perceive a difference in acceleration once we get into the newer MDX. But let's basically finish things up with the 2020 MDX. So first off, From an exterior aesthetics perspective, I feel like it's a pretty good looking vehicle from the outside. I'm actually gonna, so if you hold down the plus paddle, then it'll pop it back into the automatic mode. Just gonna do that and we'll let this person go by. But yeah, I think it's a good looking vehicle from the outside. Interior perspective, doesn't look nearly as nice as the new one, but I mean, it still has a nice interior. The steering wheel feels nice. The seats are pretty comfortable, not as comfortable as the new one, again. And then in terms of the driving, definitely you feel quite a bit through the suspension with the MDX. Like I wouldn't necessarily call it a rough ride, but you can feel what's happening on the pavement with the older MDX. With this 2020, you can feel everything that's happening through the suspension, all that kind of stuff. So that's definitely something to be aware of. The steering's very light, doesn't really have a sporty feel, just kind of feels like a normal third row SUV. And I hope it doesn't sound like I'm like talking bad on this vehicle. This is a very well put together vehicle, but compared to the new one, it just, that's why I'm being so critical of this, is the new one is so good that it makes the old one look bad, even though the old one is such a good vehicle. And yeah, I mean, I still think it's worth looking into a 2020 MDX, but if you have the cash, I would definitely still look into the 2022 as well, because yeah, there's been it's like a night and day difference in terms of the interior, the driving, everything. And well, if this is the review on the 2020 MDX, see you guys. Now that is going to sum things up for our video on this 2020 Acura MDX. And again, a huge shout out and thank you to Jody Wilkinson Acura for giving me some time with this 2020 MDX. Check out their inventory in the link below. I'll see all of you in the next video.